Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Sebastian and you're watching NAP. I'm gonna talk about identity, sense of self, or ego. It's also in psychology known as the difference between conscious mind and unconscious mind. In Eastern philosophies or religions, whatever you want to call them, it's kind of a yin and yang, and there are many metaphors and analogies for that. I'm gonna keep it very short, just to get the message out. And the message is that you're actually not in control of your thoughts and you're not in control of your emotions. You're just experiencing them. You can guide them a bit, but basically, you're just here to experience them. If you were in a full control of all of those things, you would be living your dreams. You would already have your dream job or career or whatever you want. You would already, you wouldn't feel resentment, you wouldn't feel anger, because those are the things that put you down, basically. Who wouldn't want to be constantly smiling and happy and joyful and everything? So it's not really how life works, and it's not really how your body works. So on a conscious basis, you can control your thoughts in a small variance. You don't choose what you think about, you don't choose what you feel, so you're just living the experience inside your own body. Many people identify themselves with their body, and they reaffirm it with their memories, and emotions are the foundation of reason. And when you ask somebody, who are you, they're going to usually tell you the most emotional events of their life, because that's how we tell ourselves a full picture, full story of who we actually are. In psychology, it's pretty easy to, when you ask a person who you are, to understand already what their traumas are from their childhood and what their system of beliefs are, and just in general how they are. In psychology, for example, Carl Jung is more of an observer of human behavior. I would describe him as looking at people like they're animals, which I would agree, because most people do live from their own senses. They ask themselves, am I feeling comfortable? Is this feeling good? And those kind of things, which also you have the other side, which is fully logical. So depending on where you choose to focus yourself, if you focus on your emotions or you focus on your reasoning, both are basically traps of ego, one sense of self that can keep you stuck for forever, basically. There are people who, were told that their skin was too white when they were on the beach, and now they don't go to the beach anymore. Everything is basically taught. When you were kids, you were taught everything by your parents and your surroundings. So in Eastern philosophies, that is your own personal karma with your family karma and so on, because karma is considered all of these baggages and all of these beliefs that were put upon you. For example, if you live in a country that was in a war with a neighboring country, you live in a belief that these people that attacked your country, or them and not us, you alienate them as they're not even human beings. And that's why people are pretty okay with killing other people. It's just because of their beliefs. Think about Crusader wars or any of those kind of big wars. It's just based on beliefs, and beliefs are just stories we tell ourselves in our heads. So from Eastern philosophies, and also from psychology and Carl Jung, of course, his famous red book tells that it's everything is literally in our head, and when you think about it, it's absolutely true, because you feel certain things because of your beliefs. If you love coffee and I spill coffee, you will feel bad, right? And when you think about it, it's just coffee. It's a liquid, like, and it's causes you to feel certain amount of feelings, and when you feel those feelings, it's emotion, energy in motion. You're gonna have some thoughts about it. So most of our actions are sorted on your thoughts, which caused your emotions, or your emotions that caused your thoughts. So most people are just reacting to life as it comes to them, and it's like a ship, on a just reacting. Oh, now it's sunny, so we're gonna put down our sails. Oh, now it's windy, so we're gonna lift up our sails. Oh, now it's storm. Oh God, please help me, it's storm, please don't let me die. So most people are just reacting to life instead of actually living. So it's all good and beautiful if you're not a person of with a lot of traumas or a lot of hate in yourself or something like that. For example, as a kid, I had a really rough upbringing, for example, and that led to me being angry at my parents and my family in general, which led to resentment, which led to hate, and that led to hate towards other people who my brain recognized that they're the enemy. And it's, when you look at the psychology side, it's literally just amygdala, because from psychology side, all of your senses send inputs to your brain, and your brain first sends the information to your fight or flight system, to your reptilian brain, which decides, is this a threat or am I safe? And that is the part of also, that is one part of ego. If it determines, and it also sends to your frontal lobe and other places to analyze further information. But for example, when somebody attacks you, or you see you're driving a car and you're talking with your friend, and suddenly you see a truck that it's gonna hit you if you don't react, and you stop talking and everything and you react, you save the situation, and then you start communicating. you know Literally something took over your conscious brain and did what was necessary for you to survive. So you see it commonly with PTSD, for example. When you do this, sometimes they would have a flashback of a grenade or something like that, and their brain would replay the events of that trauma, like it's happening literally in front of them. So you don't have actually choice in anything. We're mostly just products of our programming. In Eastern cultures, they say meditation and all of those kind of things, and also awareness, consciousness when you do it, and so on and so on helps. I'm not going to go into that currently, that's for another subject, but check out, when you want to know who you are, actually, that's the big question. And Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. That was the seed of the modern man, of the thought, we are the intelligence, we are the one that think, but it's quite incomplete, because yeah, you're not your thoughts. I've already mentioned it. I have a couple of videos, and I'm gonna do a couple of more videos about it, and how to actually manage your thoughts, and how to be with your own brain, actually. Because if you sit outside on a bench, you would, for example, in the morning, that's the most obvious one. Everybody's just rushing to work, so everybody has their headphones, so they don't hear anything outside. They have their phone in front of them, so they don't see anything outside, and they're just like zombies, like robots, just marching towards their slavery. And then they go to work, they hate their work, they're gonna do their work because it is survival. So most people are stuck in reacting to their environment and in a survival mode. We don't even understand how much we're similar to animals, because a dog doesn't sit and starve himself because he wanted to think. You would see a Buddhist monk do that, go in a forest and spend 3 days in meditation, and other people are bringing him food and he eats when he regains consciousness and so on. So we don't do that in our society because capitalism doesn't allow us to be with ourselves. Uh, Also, it promotes fixing our emotional state, and it also, if there's something wrong, if you're frustrated or something like that, you're gonna have a smoke, right? You're gonna go shopping, you're gonna see your friends and so on, and it's become so natural to do those things that yeah, you're not even conscious that you're doing them, and you think that that's a normal life to be had, that's what everybody does. So you know like, why wouldn't you? And that brings me to a story of a person who was, it's a fictional story. So one guy was driving around in his car, he saw a beautiful forest, he was like, okay, I'm gonna spend the day in this beautiful forest, and he's walking around checking out and just enjoying. And then in a distance he sees a fence with a barbed wire on top, and you know and he approaches the fence and he sees people inside, and they're all dressed kind of similar. There are some people standing around with guns, and and it's just people, and he's kind of confused, like, what's happening? And the people from the inside notice him, and they're like commenting on him, like, I'm very sorry for you, mate. You're stuck in a prison. And the guy is confused, like, I am stuck in a prison. What do you mean? He's like, yeah, you're there alone. You're behind the fence, and I wish you could, come over, or I wish we could save you, but yeah, we can't. So we're very sorry. And they continue walking their way, and they're laughing and giggling, and just living their life. So life is about perception. If you perceive something as good or bad, that is going to have a emotional impact on you. And that also comes from Buddhism, for example. What you resist persists, and also attachment is a source of all human suffering. Like I said, if you love coffee and I spill coffee in front of you, you're gonna feel bad, and it has nothing to do with reality. I just spilled liquid, and it's causing you to have an emotional reaction. For example, I was very against fashion, for example, because I was constantly looking at people like putting makeup, women, for example, putting makeup, and even men now, I'm not gonna judge. Do what you want. Uh, Putting makeup, putting all these fancy and beautiful clothes, give me rings, give me necklaces, and all of this, just so you, and also tattoos and everything, just so you feel like you're different, feeling like you're special, and it's all based on this kind of feeling. So you're searching for external validation for something that is found actually inside. So if you want to change who you are, or you have dreams that you want to work on, or you're not satisfied with the current state, and that is also kind of from Eastern philosophies. Most humans live in two states simultaneously. You're not satisfied with your current state, and you hate change. So in order to make a change, you either have to accept the current state and be fine with it, and lift your hands up and say, I'm done, or you go and change who you are. But you cannot become something if you don't believe it. For example, if I don't believe that I'm worthy of people watching me on YouTube, for example, I would never start recording videos because deep down inside of me, I believe like, why the hell would anybody watch my YouTube videos? So those core beliefs are what's keeping all of us stuck. And from, again, I'm going to say from Eastern philosophies, it's karma. It's not like I did bad now, so it's something bad is going to happen to me. Your karma is everything that you're unconsciously doing, all of your beliefs and all of your perceptions. For example, if you had if you're as a kid afraid to approach a girl when you were a small kid, and you see other kids approaching women, and you know you're growing older now, you're a teenager, and you still haven't had a girlfriend. Tell me then, what do you believe about yourself? And it has nothing to do with reality. It's not like you cannot find a girlfriend, or you will, or you're destined to be alone. It's, you know, the more time passes by, the more that belief is going to manifest in more beliefs and in more thoughts about it. For example, I don't need a girlfriend. Who needs that? I can live by myself, and all of those kind of thoughts will appear because it's a self-protection mechanism. Ego is trying to preserve itself. Remember, your identity, your sense of self, which is for me, Sebastian, is always trying to protect me, and it's usually coming from a place of fear or misunderstanding, or you know, those kind of low vibration emotions, which have nothing to do with reality. There are millions and millions, for example, women that you can approach, and you know, there will be hundreds of thousands if you approach millions. There will be hundreds of thousands of women that will say, yeah, we can go on a date. So first of all, you have to know who you are in order to change yourself. But if you're completely happy at the current state, then yeah, don't do anything. But don't, you know, also see that you're living in a kind of a small little hell, because a lot of people like to avoid reality. For example, I was a smoker for 15 years. I still smoke a little bit of tobacco. I'm quitting. But I was smoking also weed, hash. I did a lot of drugs in my early 20s, dirty drug, hard drugs. And it was all me trying to avoid reality, which is actually avoiding facing the pain of who I was. And I thought I was a loser, and I thought that nothing in my I'm not worthy of this life. I was actually also quite suicidal, and I actually tried to kill myself a couple of times. Luckily, I didn't manage. I'm here. That's great. I'm very grateful for that. But your identity is actually controlling you. So, and it's really hard to break it, because it's like wearing a, you know, like you're putting Apple goggles, and now you're playing this reality, and you know, somebody says something and it automatically translates into your beliefs and everything, because that's how we understand people. That's how you understand my words. If I tell you like Mandarin, you're gonna imagine this right away, because ego likes to label this as a Mandarin. But if I tell you that this is an apple, you're gonna think of me that something is wrong with me, which I'm not doubting that something is wrong with me. But why wouldn't this be an apple, you know? Who cares? It's a word, you know? So yeah, be careful about the concepts you tell yourself. And if you observe yourself, you just have to observe yourself. You don't have to do anything. Just every night, sit on the side of your bed and go through your day and observe yourself, because we're always expressing our ego. Our ego is always, it's always present. When you open your eyes, your ego is active because it's a default mode network, which means it's always on. It's like when you turn on the computer and your windows are always on. You know, there is a bit of a bias, and if you know IT at all, there is a bit of a loading before Windows, but then you are in Windows and that's all you see. And if I try to explain you how to open up something on Windows and you're using a MacBook, we're gonna have a lot of miscommunication, let's put it that way. And in people that causes uncomfortable feelings. It causes fear of the unknown. But how does he think, you know, and what does he believe? He's so different than me, and so on. And then you can see people slowly pulling away because they are afraid of the unknown instead of yeah, accepting that we're all here together and we're all actually the same, no matter what interface you're using your computer on. We're all just a bunch of computers. Well, now I'm going too far with that analogy, but I hope you understand what I want to say about that. So I'm gonna quote you two people with this message, and the first one is Napoleon, actually, Napoleon Bonaparte. Bonaparte. Oh, I don't know. Napoleon. Show me a man that does the average thing while everyone else is losing their minds. And that's how he described as a good commander. And also Viktor E. Frankl, which is a very interesting guy. He said, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way, own way. He was a psychiatrist in 1940s, and he came to this conclusion while he was living through Auschwitz. So if he can say that this, then you know that it's real, in a way of when everything is taken from you, you actually realize what is the most important in life. Now we have all of these distractions, so that's why people, when they go to the forest, or you know, they go to Tibet with monks, and then you know they find themselves, and then they build that beautiful life that they wanted and everything. There is a core truth underneath all that clutter and all of those thoughts and emotions. So I wish you good luck on your journey, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I would like to know your opinions and of your story, definitely. And see you in the next one, guys. Cheers.